and yet there's the sky, and yet there's an aliveness pervading your entire body. That's the present moment. And you suddenly can even be grateful for life. You don't have to be grateful for your life situation. How can you be grateful for all the things that happened to me? I can't be. No, you don't need to. Gratitude is only required for this moment. You acknowledge there is a goodness here that the mind doesn't know anything about, and you cannot access it through conceptual thinking. That is becoming independent of external conditions, because otherwise you look for that goodness which is deep within you. You look for that goodness in external things and never find it, not for long. Sometimes you think you found it, but it's not it. And you look for the goodness in some resolution of your life situation, the happy ending of my search for fulfillment. Even if some happy ending comes, what comes after that? More problems. The happy ending is often the wedding. And what comes after that? It's better not to show it. Or the happy ending is, I find the great job. Okay, and then what? What comes after that? The problems that come with that great job. And that's not to say that don't look for anything. You still play in the world of form. You still continue to look for a job. You don't say, no, I feel so good now. I'm not even going to look for a job anymore. That can happen. It happened to me for a while, until a balance came back into my life between inner and outer. And this is why I'm telling you, you don't have to go there. But if you do, that's fine too. If you feel so good, say, okay. In my case, miraculously, I got sustained by the universe. Things came, often at the last minute, never more than knowing what that would live on for one more day. But what about the day after tomorrow? Don't know. And that worked. I'm sure Jesus said these things more or less exactly the same, that look how the flower lives, he said. It's not worried about tomorrow. It's totally present in the now. And yet, life looks after it. It's sustained by the one life, the one intelligence that underlies everything, the one consciousness. It sustains it. It gives. Look at the birds, he says. Look at the flowers of the field. He wanted you to get in touch with nature, to feel that which sustains nature also sustains you. But you don't need to. You continue then to do what you have to do without the stress. And then everything flows with more ease. And then you get a job interview and you go to their job interview feeling good. Because as you're traveling to the interview, you're sitting on the bus. It feels good to be here. And you're looking at the tree and the birds and the sky, and you feel the aliveness in your body, and you feel the presence within you, the presence that you are. And that's the present moment, and it feels good. And then you arrive not as a needy little me at the job interview, but as somebody who is happy to be there. And I'm sure people will like you for that, because even if their mind is totally mad, they might sense something in your presence. In other words, you're much more likely to get the job if you are come from the place of I'm already fulfilled. And everything flows with much greater ease. But the practice is single out this moment as much as possible and pay attention to it. And then with that comes, a little while after comes the gratitude, which is the most powerful thing there is. Gratitude is inseparable from feeling the goodness of the present moment. The moment you feel the goodness, even in unlikely places, because the goodness isn't ultimately out there, you feel it deep within. In very hard places, you have to go even deeper within to find it. And there it is. Oh. It doesn't really have a physical location, but if I had to point to a physical location, it's kind of all around here. And that is liberation. That's liberation. Not only liberation from external conditions, liberation from your mind. And then life unfolds with greater ease, not free of problems. Challenges continue to be thrown at you, but they bounce off or get transformed because you no longer complain about the challenges of life. You no longer have a little me that says, this shouldn't be happening. Why is this happening to me? To me, it shouldn't be happening to me, but it is. And without the complaining entity, the resisting entity, immediately the situation comes into the field of aware presence. And then the challenge becomes transformed. So don't expect freedom from challenges. It's not going to happen. You don't need it. In fact, all that happens through challenges is a deepening of that presence. So the practice is singling out this moment. And then that's the end of stress too. I'll just explain to you when occasionally I give talks. I'll just explain briefly how I experience it, giving a talk. Let's say the talk is at 8 o'clock in the evening. I start getting ready at 6, and if there were a mental projection, a thought movement that said, okay, at 6 I'm giving a talk to 2,000 people, what am I going to talk about? Is it going to be powerful enough? Are they going to like me? Are they going to be receptive? What if the words don't come anymore? They expect a lot. Will I be able to satisfy them? This is an important event, a very important talk. So many people, some people from the New York Times are coming. Oh my God. And of course they're going to misinterpret everything. Oh my God. That would be very stressful. So how can I not be stressed before this important talk? First is you let go of the idea that some important event is coming up. And so you single out this moment, which is I'm getting dressed. And then I'm looking out of the window, and then put on my shoes, and then I sit there breathing. And there's just this moment. There's only ever this moment. Why should this important event has no reality yet except as a mind structure, so I'm not going there. There's just this. Then the phone rings, there's the car is here. Okay, I go out, elevator, down one step at a time, go into the car, drives off, look out of the window, traffic, people, houses. It's just this moment. Very simple, nothing big, just this moment. Then you arrive at the place, go into the green room, sit there, eat a banana. Just this moment. Stay with this moment. It's so natural you don't even have to try anymore. It's just what is. And then you sit, breathe. Somebody comes. I've been in one or two weird places where theaters, where they have a certain structure, and then there's a loudspeaker in the green room, and then at 5 to 8, the voice says, "The show starts in 5 minutes." I didn't know it was going to be a show. But I'm not going to believe that, because there's only this moment. And then on stage there's only this chair, and there's this little man sitting on the chair, breathing and looking. And what is it that this moment requires? It requires me to be still and look. And after a while I realize that words are required, and then I start often by saying, make sure you're completely here. This is it. It's this moment. Take your attention into this. There's no big event. It's simple. And there isn't 2,000 people. There's just one person there. And I'm talking to one person. And that's all. There's no some mental excitement around it. Just stay with the simplicity of the present moment. And that people wait for some grand, important thing in their lives. Finally, what are these expressions? When is my boat coming in, or whatever the expressions are? Well, if you're looking to it in the future, it's not coming. And if it comes, you won't be happy. Stay with the simplicity of this moment and honor it. Then your life becomes deep. Don't expect some great thing. Your life consists of little things. Even if you became some important public figure, President of the United States, even he just can only do one thing at a time. Can only step into the car, step out of the car, go to his desk, answer the phone, talk to people, look into the camera, one thing at a time, and then go to bed, have breakfast, and then the same thing happens again. So instead of having your life centered on past and future and your life situation, you make the center of your life the present moment. And the rest also you give it attention as it's needed, but on a practical level only. You do what's needed for the future. You remember your past, what you need to remember, you remember it, without looking to it for some kind of validation of who you are, because that's not in the past. Who you are can only be found in the depths of yourself in this moment, in the presence, the very presence that you can sense at this moment as you sit here. You can't define it, but you know there is a presence. The rest may be a dream, but underlying the dream there is a presence, there is the light of consciousness. You are that. Not what appears in the light. It comes and goes. It's fine. So that's the secret then is more and more this. Pay attention to this. And then whatever you do also becomes empowered. The power of the present moment flowing into what you do. That's the practice. And you gradually become free. You become free of the personality, the person that before was this heaviness of the me. You become free of the conditioned entity which still operates from time to time through you, but there is something more vital that shines through the conditioned entity. And occasionally I've seen it in people who were close to death. The conditioned entity subsided and there was just surrender and aliveness and light. But you don't have to wait for death. It's now. Access that now in your life. So that is what our Sufi, who later became the Sufi master, what he learned when he willingly accepted the position of slave, what he learned was, and then he started to learn how to weave. For him then, for years, only this moment. And he was weaving every day, weaving. And being just present with that. No name, nobody. Just a presence behind the weaving. And then life said, you can move on now. And then he moved on. And through this training, his personality had dissolved and his presence emerged. And he was then recognized as a great teacher. So he wasn't looking for ideal conditions. Well, he was in a way, but not what one would have thought as ideal conditions for awakening. In one sense, you can be grateful for your life situation is because it's taken you to this moment where you wake up. All the stuff that's gone wrong in my life has taken me to this moment. I'm talking for myself too. All the stuff that's gone wrong has taken me to this moment where I realize the possibility of awakening, where I realize how good the present moment actually is in the depths. So gratitude comes.